You're welcome. Have a great day.
All right, I think we're ready to go. So thanks to all of you that are right here in front of me. Appreciate you coming and hanging out and everything. We're going to be talking today during this session about station rotation, which is something that sometimes you think of as like just for elementary classes and just for but there's like really great ways that you can use that in all content areas and grade levels and everything to make things more student-centered. And so we got several good strategies that we're going to talk about. Lots of resources that you can use right away in your classroom to get started. So real quick, my name's Matt Miller. I am the author of Ditch That Textbook and 4 other books, and I've been coming to ISTE for a while. Let me ask real quick, is anybody like first year ISTE? Yes, okay, all right, so just first one? Yeah, okay, all right, cool. Anybody been to more than one regular? Yeah, been here for a while? That was the wrong answer. For real, 12 or 13? That's incredible. Yeah, right? Exactly. It's been like only 5 or 6 for me or something, so. All right, we're going to see if we can,
It was still Nick.
Oh, neck, yeah, that's right. Oh my goodness, yeah, that has, I'm not trying to say it's been a long time, like, it's been, but it hasn't been neck for a while, right? Yeah, exactly. All right, I'm going to let them work on this, and I'm just going to project until we get this thing going again, okay? All right, so station rotation. First quick question. Before I get to this too much, does anybody have any experience using station rotation? A little bit, yes, like regularly? Try to do it regularly? Any experience? Yeah, okay. Yes, kind of, sort of. Okay, yeah, I've done a little bit of it too. And the thing that I like about it is that it does, I'm just going to keep testing this to see, I don't think they're working on it anymore. The thing that I like about it is that it does take it away from the front of the classroom and it puts things into the hands of students, right? So I don't just have to sit and listen. Because, you know, like, here's me up in the front of the class. This is going to be amazing. And this is what's on all of their mind. Like, what's for lunch? You know, how much longer is this class, like, looking at the clock and everything? We know what we're talking about here, right? We're all very familiar with it. So the nice thing about station rotation is it does kind of break out of that a little bit. And the research backs this up too, like prolonged sitting deteriorates cognitive performance. We don't need brain research to know this. We just know that it's true, you know, that if kids sit for too long, that if we sit for too long, it makes it hard, right? Sitting's linked to all of these physical health risks, obesity, blood pressure, metabolism, like all of this stuff. I really like this quote over here. I don't know if you guys have heard Dan Pink, and if you've heard him say this is in one of his newer books. He says, sitting is the new smoking. Oh my gosh, you know what I'm talking about, right? Like yeah. Oh, awesome. Thank you. Yeah, oh, awesome. You need to come to all of these. This is great. And so when I see all of that, I'm like, well, how does this cross over? How can I help kids get away from that, right? And so I was wrestling with that in my own classroom, because you've probably seen these faces too. Slumped posture, disconnected from class, like I don't want to be here. Check. Test. Okay. All right. We'll just go like this. We'll go like this. It's okay. And so if we can break the student work up a little bit, just cut it. Yeah. If we can break the student work up and get them moving, that's all good, right? So that's kind of what we're talking about here. Small tasks completed around the room. And let me ask, for those of you that have done this before, like, This says some rotate at preset intervals, and some people just like let kids go whenever they finish. Does anybody have a preference on those two?
So when I first started, I was preset.
Yeah.
Trained them.
Yeah.
But it felt like staying in the station for so long to the task.
Yeah.
But then once I got it done, like at 9 weeks,
Yeah.
6 weeks, then I would almost do like a video training for.
Oh, nice.
I had to just put the stars on them. And
Yeah.
you see why I had it because it was appreciation.
Yeah.
Then they got to choose like things to complete. But like teacher table was always one they had to go to.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
Then you just kind of had timer in the bell and like a timer on the things and you what their countdown is.
Yeah.
But now for one-to-one, like
Yeah.
it's the magic.
Oh yeah, there's so many like different tasks and activities that they could do with those devices. Yeah, and I love what you were saying there, where there were some stations where they do have to go to them, like the starred ones, but then there's some other ones where they have some choice. That's so cool. I love that. And so, of course, it does get them up on their feet and moving. We're not just sitting in the same place all the time. And, you know, having an endpoint and a reward. Oh, I got done with this. Check. You know how we get our checklists and how motivating it is to check something off of our list, right? You guys like me on that? So that's one of the things that I like about it. One of the places I've learned a lot about station rotation is from Catlin Tucker. Are you all familiar with Catlin Tucker? She's written some books and she's put lots of things on her website about station rotation in particular, and she teaches high school. And so this is really for everybody, and it's super student centered. So I'm going to go through a handful of things. By the way, I am displaying these, if you haven't noticed, in the Samsung booth on the Flip Pro. And I did draw all of my slides on this. So it's pretty cool, some of the stuff that you're able to do. You're going to see some of it as we go here. But with all of the stuff I talk about, even if I go through it fast, just go here, and it's got lots of resources about exactly what we're going to talk about. So you can even take that back to some of your teachers at your site if you want to, just at ditch.link/Samsung. All right, cool. We already did this question. You have experience with station rotation. So let's just go right on to the good stuff, shall we? Number one is task cards. So this is like once you get to a location, you imagine you're a student and you wander up to one of these locations, one of these stations. If you've got a task card in place, that gives them specifics on what they want to do, right? You see some teachers that are like, I'm going to print it out every time so that I can adjust it. You got other ones that are like, I know exactly what I want them to do, so I'm going to laminate it and I've already got it. You got other ones that'll do digital task cards, you know? And digital task cards are good, but I kind of like the in-person ones so that it means they have a reason to walk over here and a reason to move around, right? So it kind of ties it in there. So an instruction sheet, it's got directions, tips, answers on one spot. It doesn't just have to be instructions. It's like, if you want to have success, here are some ideas. So it's kind of like a place where you can even coach them too, you know? Very student-centered. The students run the show, so they have the agency to come over and say, okay, I know what needs to get done. I'm going to do it. I don't need to wait on the teacher to tell me, right? So that's kind of nice too. We talked about that. And there's actually some templates. Do you all like a good template where, like, you get a copy of the file, you can adjust it, and you can go use it right away? We've got task card templates here. So if you want to go, I just saw that. They're like, let me get a picture of that. Yeah. So we've got task card templates that you can download and adjust and write and then assign to your students if you want to. So using task cards. Does anybody have any other suggestions on task cards? Yeah.
I never really typed it that way, so I'm trying everything.
Yeah.
But I use Split, and I use QR codes within the task.
Oh, I like that.
Into the directions, especially my ELL learners.
Yeah. So you said what was it that you used? You said QR codes and Flip. Oh, it's looked like Flipgrid.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's right, but it's not called Flipgrid anymore. That's right. So QR codes, I'm going to go with you on that. And Flip. And it looks like that. The smuggle, that's right, exactly. So it's easy for them to scan that, and then they can see a video task card almost. That's cool. Very good. See, I'm still having a hard time crossing over. Oh, yeah?
You can have it in different languages.
Oh, into different languages. See, that's even better.
So now it's all accessible.
Yeah. I didn't even think about that. That's fantastic. I love that. Very good. Anybody else on like task cards and directions and stuff? Audio. Yeah. Yeah. So if they can't, you're right. So like, they can do the task, but they might not be able to read the direct. Yeah, it's like it's up here. You don't want the language to be a barrier. It's like we can break down barriers, right? I like that. That's good. Anybody else on that? We had audio too. But where am I going to put this arrow? All right. I also wanted to shout out my friend Kristen Daly Conti, who is a middle school teacher who does this with her science students. And in fact, we're going to try it again. Is it working? Hey! Can you hear my voice? You know that I probably really need this microphone right now. I probably really, really need it. Thank you, Gloria. Okay. Check. Yep, it's still there. So anyway, with those resources I showed you at ditch.link/Samsung, she's got examples of how she makes that work in her middle school science class. You can see it, very vividly how that works. That's strategy 1, task cards. Let's keep moving. Number 2 is to use variety. Every once in a while, I'll hear somebody talk about something like station rotation. They'll be like, oh, you know what? I got like 6 of these worksheets that kids need to work on. So I'm going to put one here and I'm going to put one here. Melissa's over here cringing. Yeah, she's like cringing like I'm cringing too, right? I'm like, no, this is not a way to dress up worksheets because you want different modalities. You want different ways to reach kids, right? So you want to have that variety. Same activities can kind of disengage. So what are some things you could do to mix that up? Reading, writing, listening, speaking. Have them read articles, have them listen to podcasts, watch videos, interactive media where they can click, infographics, memes, video responses using something like Flip or whatever, right? And so there's a lot that we can do. We were just talking about all that you can do with those devices, right? So if we have that, we can really mix up the variety. What else? What's another like good activity? Yeah. Yes, ma'am. Oh, I like that. A place where they can collaborate and talk. How do you do that with station rotation? Put me on the spot. Okay.
You guys all work together to make this town meet the purpose of the government. I always have a collaboration.
I love that. So she's saying that she brings in Yeah. Yeah.
I have a business center, I have a collaboration center, and I have
what? Lots of those activities, yeah. So she's saying like a teacher center where you can meet with the teacher, a collaboration. And the collaboration idea is so good because you don't want them just like, you don't want them like just going around in silos, just like individually, right? I mean, you miss out on some of the greatness of the flexibility of this when you do that. Anything else we want to add to our mini board here as far as ideas for variety, other things you could do? Yes, we would. Oh, yeah, like a breakout box or an escape room type of thing. Breakout, escape, and you said just like one lock or something small. Yeah. Yes, I love that. You don't want it to be too much. Like, you want them to be able to check it off the list, right? Yeah, exactly. Anybody else? Yes, last one.
I'm a tech coach, but I've had an elementary teacher in the past couple of years. She actually incorporated, there's an amazing lady that does yoga, and I forget her name,
Okay.
but she does these really quiet, and this is an area for she's looking at kids to come over and put the device down and do the yoga, and that's that movement. And no, it's all her brain, but that self-care, because she is struggling with an anger and she's struggling with other things that she won't incorporate. That's really funny because every kid shows that daily.
Yeah, yeah,
It shows it. Not just the work, but it's really it to me.
yeah.
It's not even just brainwashing us to yoga, and it's really engaging. And so, like, my
It's incredible.
choose to do that. That's like, I don't even do yoga, but good for you.
Right, exactly. So if you didn't hear that, that was like using yoga as a station, even though it's not for a grade or anything. Like you said, it's like one of those things. It's like the tide that brings all of the ships up, right? Like, everybody's better off whenever they do that self-care stuff. Plugging that into a station, that's a fantastic idea. I love that. Should we keep moving? You good? Okay. All right, this is great. Okay, we'll put our mini board away for now. I love all those ideas we're sticking on there. Strategy number 3. There's 4 strategies, and the last 2 I'm going to go through pretty quick, okay? Have an end product. Like, again, it's the check mark idea, right? Like, we can complete something and do something to finalize it and get closure and go on. And sometimes it's something as simple as, like, a little discussion prompt that you respond to. Sometimes what they create is a product in itself, and they turn it in and boom, they're done. But even if they don't, if you give them a discussion or a reflection prompt afterwards, what will you remember most? What challenged your beliefs? Reflect on your learning. Reflection on our topic of study. What will you do differently? What was easiest or hardest? You just plug one of those little things in whenever they're done. It gives them a little bit of that closure, right? I love this quote. It's attributed to John Dewey. Every once in a while, someone will be like, John Dewey didn't actually say that. I don't know who really said it, but I'm going to attribute it to John Dewey for now. We don't learn from experience. We learn from reflecting on experience. We can do it, but if we don't think about what we just did, we miss out on some of the greatness, right? So having an end product is good. Here's the last one, and this is one that I think sometimes we don't think about, is that your interactive display can be a station, right? I mean, if you think about it, a lot of times we think of the display as a teacher device. However, it doesn't have to be, right? And of course, if you got this on a stand, with wheels, these Flip Pros have a handle, which makes it really easy to just roll it wherever you want, just park it right there as a station. And think about what you could do with a display like the Flip Pro as a station. If you just start to let your mind go, like for instance, with the roll, lots of them have a whiteboard. I like the roll because it kind of feels like a big roll of paper on this one. Give them a little graphic organizer, have them do a little writing prompt. And so, they're kind of like drawing their idea on here. There's a picture of them, and here's maybe like a thought bubble of what they're thinking. And then when they're done, they just flip the page to the next one, which is kind of like I've been doing, right? And if you leave that as a station, now you've got this collection of everybody's ideas. You can do that right up on your board, right? How about this one? The Flip Pro, by the way, one of the things I like about it is it's got this built-in web browser. It's just like really super quick and easy. So imagine putting this up here and having something like pull up Google Maps and pull up Street View. It's like dropping the students down on the street. It's almost like a little virtual field trip. That could be one of your stations. If this display is just kind of sitting up here anyway, why don't we take something like this and we pull up Street View, we go right downtown here, and this is just sitting on your display. We can even maximize it. And then they can walk up here, and because it's got touch capabilities, because it's so responsive, they walk around up here and they kind of check things out, and they can zoom in and zoom out. If they're down on the street, they can click forward and move to someplace else. So you've got a virtual field trip as one of your stations. That's kind of a cool thing too, right? So that is another thing that we can do. So anyway, if you've never thought about using your display, that's another good way to do it. Okay. What else? That kind of wraps it up for me, at least. Task cards, variety, end product, display. And the nice thing about this is it can be done fairly without a whole lot of prep. You know, like a lot of these activities, the kids are doing it. So it doesn't take a whole lot of work from us. Here's those resources one more time. Any questions or any last thoughts? Anything else you would add? Are we satisfied? Yeah. All right. I think that wraps us up. Maybe do you have anything? Yeah. Anybody that's in the same sign? Sure, feel free to ask me if you got questions about the boards or anything. If you want to come and see me, ask me questions, hang out, say hi, take a picture, whatever, I have you. So feel free to come by. All right, thank you all so much for coming. Appreciate it. Thanks. Thank you. Thank you.
Sorry.
Oh, that's fine. Oh, yeah. Yeah, no, that works. Yes, totally. Absolutely. Here, while you're getting that ready. Yes. You're so sweet. Thank you. Yes.